Namaste yogis, welcome to your practice. This is Stephen from YogaWorks, and this practice is designed as an after work practice. So you've just come back from work, you've had a busy day full of notifications and messages and phone calls and emails and maybe traveling, whatever else happened during your day, and you have decided to take a little bit of time to come to your mat. So we're going to do two things. It's a very simple and accessible flow with a bit of hip stuff, a bit of shoulder stretches, a little bit of spinal movements, but I would like to invite you to not work too hard. You have already worked hard during your working day and now you've come to your mat, so let this be a complement, a little bit of a different thing that you do during the day to offset and counter some of the maybe stress and tension that was built up during the day. And then the second thing is I'm going to keep the instructions to a little bit of a minimum so that there's a bit of quiet space in between the instructions and you can settle into your body, into your practice a little bit easier in that way. So let's get going. Lie down on your back. Bring your knees up to the chest and then lower both knees to the left side. I like to rest my left hand on the right thigh or knee, and then you could stretch the right arm away from you in the opposite direction. That's it. Let it be really simple and relaxing. Relax the shoulders down on the mat. Relax your knees to the side, whether they touch all the way down or not. It's not so important. Couple of breaths here just to start to feel your body after your long day at work. It's easy to not pay attention to the body when we're doing a lot of mental work. And then lift the knees back up. And lower the knees to the right side. Maybe rest the right hand on the top leg and reach the left arm away from you. You don't need to twist your neck all the way back, you can just keep it neutral or in whichever position feels the most natural to you. Again, a moment to take a few breaths and soften your upper back and the shoulders on the mat. Let the twist and the breath do the work without you having to strain really hard. And then lift back up. Wrap your right knee over the left knee. Allow the knees to go back to the left side. Maybe again rest the left hand on the top leg. Slightly different twist setup, so just experience that for a breath or two and see, instead of trying to go further, see where you can drop some tension or relax a little bit more. And then back to center. Swap the legs, so left knee on top of the right. We're lowering the legs to the right side, stretching left arm away. And again, drop in a couple of breaths. Slowly back to center. And then slowly come up to sitting. Come onto hands and knees. And keep your hips above the knees here as you walk your hands far forward all the way to the front of the mat, and allow the forehead to come closer to the mat and maybe touch the mat, whichever one is available to you. And then instead of just sinking down completely, press the hands into the mat just a tiny bit. If you want to make this more intense, you can come up onto your fingertips and see how that feels. Some nice shoulder work and chest opening. Great to counter some hours of sitting that went before. And then slide through to lie on your belly. Come into Sphinx pose with the elbows under the shoulders. And then just really simple, slide your right arm straight to the right and lift the right elbow up slightly. All I'm going to do is press the left hand down next to left shoulder and roll onto my right side body. With the left leg, you can place the leg behind you, but often I just like to keep it on top of the right. And then press the right hand into the mat a little bit. Nice, slowly roll back onto your belly, come into Sphinx pose. And then same thing to the second side, the left elbow goes out, elbow about 90 degrees, and then slide a little bit higher up. And then turn onto the left shoulder, the left side body. Maybe just stack the right leg on top or wherever it's comfortable. I'm pushing a little bit with the right fingertips, and the left shoulder is nice and relaxed and heavy. Couple of breaths where you are doing a little bit less at the end of the day. And then slowly roll back to center, make your way into downward facing dog. Also great counter pose to long hours of sitting. Feel free to move around, maybe pedaling the legs out one by one. And even if you like, keep the knees a bit bent in this modified version, just to have a bit more length in the spine. And then turn the right heel down, so at a 45-degree angle. Keep the ball of the left foot down, and all I'm going to do is turn the hips a little bit to the left and lean a little bit to the left, so I'm getting a nice stretch in the right side body. Explore that for a moment. Turn to the center, turn the left heel down. Bend the right knee quite a lot and lean the left hip over to the right. Get into that side body, the left side of the rib cage. One more breath or so. And then release. And now lower the elbows down to the mat, about shoulder distance apart. You can do with your hands whatever you like. And then walk the feet a little bit closer. Push the elbows down and then lengthen the spine away from the hands, just like down dog. And then ever so slightly push your chest towards your legs. Just get more into the shoulders and the upper back. One more deeper breath. Slowly release the knees down and step your right foot forward. Come into a low lunge, so with the left knee down, and clasp your hands behind the back of the head. Open the elbows wide, and then let your head just gently rest in the hands, pushing back to open the chest, the whole front body. Allow the hips to feel heavy and sink down towards the mat. And then release that, bring the hands together at the heart and do a simple twist to the right side. So left elbow over the right knee. Roll the right shoulder open. But as we said in the beginning, don't work too hard. Release the hands down, just back to down dog. And then step the left foot forward. Lower the right knee down. Same thing here, coming up, low lunge, Interlace the hands behind the head. Open your elbows. Lean the head back, broaden the chest. And slide the hips forward and down until they stop. Explore this for another breath or so. See where the breath moves. And a little twist, hands to heart, right elbow over left knee, push the palms together, roll the left shoulder open. And release the hands down, just to down dog, step back. Step the right foot forward again, low lunge. We start off the same, left knee down. Come up and come into cactus arms this time. And then from here, right elbow under the left elbow for eagle arms. You lift the elbows a little bit, press them a bit forward, and feel the broadness in the upper back. Release the elbows, left hand inside the right foot, the right arm up for easy twist. Or if you like, you can also lift the back knee, same pose, different setup slightly. Downward facing dog, just step back, nice and simple. Step the left foot forward. Lower the right knee down. Cactus arms, broaden the chest, pull the elbows back. And then left elbow and the right for eagle arms. Same thing as the previous side. Lift the elbows slightly and press the forearms away from your face. Focus on the upper back. Send a few breaths there. And see if you can soften the hips down. Release the right hand inside your left foot. Lift the left arm, easy twist. Or if you prefer, you can also lift the back knee up. Take one more inhale. And on the exhale, move back to down dog. One more little flow like this, right foot forward, the left knee down. Come up, this time reach your hands back behind the lower back. And this time let the hands, the palms don't need to come together. So let the hands, just with the fingers clasped together, sink the hips forward and down. And then as you keep the fingers quite strong, lift the hands a little bit away from your back. And then feel the outsides of the shoulders. Can you broaden the chest and even your upper back slightly more. Slowly release the left hand down, the right hand back. You could stay here, or for a moment you can hold your back foot for a quad stretch. So we're getting to hips and the shoulders a little bit, but do all of it in the nicest way possible, without pushing too hard. Just unwinding after your workday. And slowly release. Downward facing dog, step back. And then left foot forward, low lunge again. Right knee down, reach the hands back behind you, interlace the fingers. And then this time try with the palms pressing together like one big fist. And pull the shoulder a bit back, lift the fists a little bit away from your lower back. And apply some pressure like the hands are pulling away from each other, but they are clasped together at the same time. And release. Right hand down, left arm back. Feel free to stay here. Or if you can hold the back foot, that's also fine. A moment in the quad stretch. Simply let the front of the right thigh lengthen. That's enough. And then gently release that. Exhale back to downward facing dog. Slowly walk your feet forward to the front of the mat. And then put a little bend in the knees, and as you keep draping your spine forward, clasp the hands behind the lower back and lift them up. So we're getting to shoulders, chest a little bit. Light hamstring stretch, but keep it mild. We're not looking for serious intensity in this practice. We're actually doing the opposite. The working day has been intense enough, and now we're just taking care of our body with this brief practice. Release the hands down and then step back to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, turn the left heel down and come up into warrior two. Just a moment in this pose, adjust whatever you need to, but try to be your own teacher, finding out the cues that work in your body without trying too hard tonight. And then right elbow to the right thigh, left arm reach it over the head, side angle. And then with the left arm, reach around the lower back. Maybe keep the hand on the lower back or hook it inside your thigh, the hip crease if you've got space. And maybe the right fingertips can touch down inside your right foot. This is totally optional. If that doesn't work, then ignore that. Release, hands down, downward facing dog. Unwinding both the body and the mind. Step the left foot forward, the right heel comes down for warrior two. Can you move in such a way that you don't introduce more strain at the end of this day? And then left elbow down, the right arm goes up and over. And from here to the half bind, just to get a bit more shoulder work. Maybe hand in the hip crease, and maybe the left fingertips down, or any part of it that works for you. You'll figure it out. A moment here, let the breath flow, let the body and the mind relax. Gently release. Downward facing dog, just step back. Last standing pose, right foot forward, left heel down, just like warrior two, but this time come up all the way and straighten your knees. Reach your right hand forward and lower it down somewhere. Lift the left arm up for triangle pose. Little bit of hamstring and inner thigh opening, always great after a period of sitting. And then what you can do to get a bit more side body is reach the left arm over the head, and then you can even drape your body down. So just hang into it a little bit. Feel the long line, the top side of the body Gently lengthen. Release. Hands down. Just step back, down dog. And then left foot forward. Right heel comes down. Similar stance as warrior two, but we're straightening the front leg. Reach the left hand forward, forward, forward. Lower it somewhere. And lift the right arm up. Triangle pose. This is fine, you can stay here, or let the right arm reach over the head for a bit more side bend, and maybe drape the upper body over that left leg a little bit more. Just hang down, you don't need to hold anything. A couple of breaths into the top side of your rib cage, but let it be mild. And then slowly release. Come all the way down onto your belly. And then just push back to child's pose. It's a really nice pose to lengthen the lower back. And to have a bit of peace and quiet just by closing off the busy outside world for a moment. So let the senses turn inwards. Your gaze is towards the inside, just imagine. And you're listening not for external sounds, but for how your body is feeling. And your sense of touch is also turning inwards to see how does the body feel from the inside out. And from here come to lie on your back. With the knees bent for bridge pose. So heels quite close to your hips and start to lift the hips up. You can just hold this, or you can clasp your hands behind the lower back if that feels good. And feel free to keep it as mild as you like. We don't need to lift high at all. We're just creating a little bit of space in the front body, thighs, hips, the belly, the chest, the shoulders. And that's enough. If you want to do a deeper back bend, then by all means go ahead. But just make sure you don't introduce unnecessary tension. And then slowly release. Stretch the legs out. We've got a few minutes left for Shavasana. Really great pose at the end of your working day. So if you only have 3 minutes, I would say skip the rest and just do the Shavasana. Melt your shoulders, your spine, your hips into the mat. Let your brain rest in the head. The face, the neck, the shoulders soften. And then take a few deeper breaths. Move your hands and move your feet. Bend your knees, roll over onto your side. And use your hands to come up to sitting. Place the palms together. Touch your hands to your forehead, to your heart. And bow to yourself on the mat. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing. See you again soon.